Cool. Okay. What is your company name?
Company name is umbrella.associates. It's
okay.
a German limited, and the reference is not the Umbrella Academy. It is actually that movie and video gaming stuff.
Yeah.
We just didn't have enough money for hiring Mila Jovovich yet, but we're looking forward to it.
Should be a great spokesmodel.
I would say so, and if you hit our website, www.umbrella.associates, you will actually be doing a little scavenger hunt for all the Easter egg zombies that we hit on the website.
Are you serious?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so let's start. This is the perfect way to start because, so I'm going to start calling you Captain Identity. So this is Sebastian, Umbrella Associates, right? So I met him in Vegas. You were actually the first person I gave a token to.
Oh, how nice is that?
The very first person. I was walking in and I was like, hi. And you were, what was this? And you were super excited. And you, what's your partner's name?
Roland.
Roland. So you and Roland went to town on that scavenger hunt.
Absolutely.
And I can't thank you enough because I put so much time and effort into that game and I was afraid that no one was going to play.
and we were promoting it like crazy and there were people later on telling me, why didn't you tell me earlier? I wanted to be in, especially that one guy from Strata that I think made third place or second place. I don't remember. He said, next time this is going to happen, we'll team up right at the start because we're all completely into it. And yeah, right, Roland and myself, we consider ourselves to be, a little bit special. So when people come up with promotional videos showing like broadswords and axes and stuff, we're hooked, right?
That's what I was hoping for. I was like, I want something different. I want something exciting and fun.
That it was.
Good. I'm glad. I'm very glad that you enjoyed it. So at Identiverse, what else did you do besides the most amazing scavenger hunt in the world?
Oh, well, yeah. So for us being there the second time, it was definitely about technology scouting. So we're a Germany, Frankfurt, based boutique advisory for identity and access management security. So yeah, for us it was really, really important to like catch the vibe and see what's going on in the identity management space on the other side of the pond and see which vendors are not yet present here in the DACH region or in overall Europe and see what's happening there, what are the new developments, especially catching up on standardization stuff and all the new developments around FIDO, passwordless, wallets, and verifiable credentials and stuff like that. And for us, that's really, really important to get the basics done well. But after all, we were in Vegas. So, well, aside from scavenger hunts, we actually had a big chance to visit the Sphere. Thanks, Ripplings, by the way. That was really, really good. I enjoyed it very much. And I also need to do a shout out to Sarah Cicchetti from AWS Cedar because she was organizing those escape room adventures for like a decade, it seems. And we were in for the first time. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. So puzzles everywhere. That's great.
Exactly. So yeah, we like to crack those really, really important and complex puzzles.
Yep.
That's what we do.
So I can't remember the guy's name from Strata. I'm sorry. But so I was speaking with him a little bit later, and he's a huge escape room fanatic. Like him and his wife, they say he does like 9 a weekend. He's done like 200 escape rooms last year. Like
wow.
This
is huge. Okay, good.
So
good.
He may be a part of developing the next scavenger hunt actually. So that's pretty cool. So when you were at Identiverse, you're technology scouting. So that's funny because that's why I'm here at EIC right now, because I feel that Europe is leading the way now in identity management. So how are you viewing, did you find anything new and exciting at Identiverse?
Oh, well, the one thing that wasn't that new to us, but definitely new to the whole, let's say, community is fine-grained authorization and everything around authorization itself. So last year during Identiverse, I got together with Gert Rijpers and Omri Gazet from Acerto, and we were standing in front of that reception desk and we were pondering what was going on and first developments around OPA, Styra, authorization. And then I told them, you guys, do you happen to know the term Identiverse, which some of the fellows here might know? And then I said, oh, well, there's so much going on in the authorization space right now. Why don't we create a new group, the new cool kids, and let's call them authorati. And that's where that term was coined, and that really took off. Unfortunately, my daily business here in Europe is much more, let's say, old school IGA, privileged access management, SIAM, and just getting what's out there in the product landscape implemented in our customer base. But my partner Roland is really, really active in that community. He's part of the Zen group of OpenID, which I also recommend to all of our listeners here, because it's really where the new cool stuff happens. So seeing how much attention authorization got in Las Vegas, I actually reached out to Martin Kuppinger of Kuppinger Cole, whose events we're attending right now here, and sort of nudged him and told him, you see, during our last interview last year, you said it's verifiable credentials and distributed identity that's going to rock the world of identity. And I said, no, it's authorization. And I claimed victory. So yeah, I think, to be fair, those three are definitely what's going on, and I believe that your approach to coming here and learning about wallets and using them in cross-national environments is the next big thing, right?
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, I was interviewing people that were speaking here leading up to this convention so I could get an idea of what I'm getting into. And then all of a sudden, I mean, I'm very familiar with decentralized identity and wallets because I'm also into the blockchain world. But digital twin, digital product passports were two new things I've never even heard of.
Wow. Now that you mention it, this is really, truly something that's very close to my heart, because we're currently working in a government-funded research project called 6G CompuSense. So it's about deploying 6G networks, which, by the way, use antenna arrays in a frequency spectrum that is very, very close to radar. So what we're doing in that one is actually doing data transmission, but also doing location analysis in new networks. And our part there is actually doing the identification and the automated identification of, let's say, autonomous vehicles that you use for internal logistics stuff. You've all seen those videos where those small bots whiz around in the Amazon halls. So just, adding one of those might be rogue, might be a real one, and not having to take it, read the MAC address, read the serial number, make and model, add that to your Identity 4.0, Industry 4.0 asset inventory list, but just, pushing it in and having it behave, pass a sensor 2 times, and they say, okay, you're one of those. And it sort of sends back its, let's say, pre-shared key, based maybe on FIDO FTO, and suddenly you have a new entry in your asset inventory. And that is actually feeding into that digital product passport stuff. Yeah. So yeah, this is my big goal for the next 2 years or so, building exactly that glue technology that you would need so that this all comes together.
Yeah, the digital, I guarantee most of the people back in the States listening to this, the digital product passport, the way it was described to me as an example was, like, let's say you're a battery manufacturer for lithium batteries or something. So on the packaging would be a QR code, and you scan it, and then the product, like a product sheet comes up, and it shows you where everything was sourced. It shows you the entire provenance of everything, like how much child labor was lost, what type of carbon credits were used to do this kind of thing.
Oh, there's a reason to that, because in the EU we're working on something that's like the supply chain law. In Germany it's called Lieferkettengesetz. Really, really nice. We Germans love those chain words.
What is that? That's not a word. That's a Flugenkeilen.
Ow! And it will actually make you responsible for making sure that there's no child labor and that all the resources have been fairly sourced and stuff like that. Yeah. But it ends up in exactly that. An easy means for you as a consumer or you as a customer organization to see what is it asset all about, what are the components that are in there, who's the manufacturer, what's the serial, everything you need to know about that asset that is buzzing around on your shop floor.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. It's such common sense. Like, it's like, why didn't we think of this sooner? I feel like is when I first heard about it. Like, oh.
Exactly.
So more importantly, you also have IdentiBeer.
Oh, yes.
Oh wait, and this one though, this
this is the AuthorityBeer, which we just created this year. But yeah, IdentiBeer, and I by no means claim that I invented that term. I totally grant that to Espenbargo and to the people of IKEA. They are doing those meetups in Stockholm, in Amsterdam, in London, and they do that with the hashtag IdentiBeer. And well, what better could I do as being a German in the land of beer and saying, hold my beer, I can actually create one. So I actually went out to the next craft brewery. I live in a small town called Funkstadt, south of Darmstadt, south of Frankfurt. And we have a craft brewery called Braudig, very famous, very important, look it up. And well, I just asked them, would you be able to brew a special batch just for us, and we'll dub it IdentiBeer. And we created a logo for it. We created the labels for it, had it printed, and you know, it's food. So in Germany, something like the FDA requires you that you have certain information on it. So yeah. And yeah, it was a huge success. And we've been running around starting last year, giving out those as a token of appreciation to figures in the industry like Mike Heiser of SailPoint, Ian Glazer, Alan Foster, Eve Mailer, Nat Sakimura, and Mike Jones, and we just went on.
I got one.
Yeah, and you got one. So yeah, that was really huge. And our beloved friend Vittorio Bertocci, who sadly died last year, 5 weeks after Identiverse, which is really, really sad. After EIC posted a picture of the beer being drunk and said, well, it's a clever marketing ploy by Sebastian, but it really works. And here we are in the second year running, and it's just great. And Roland had the idea of coming up with AuthorityBeer as an even more rare variety. So we have 99 of the IdentiBeers and just 66 of the AuthorityBeers this year. So yeah, it's kind of a rare item, and people at Identiverse and also at EIC.
Yeah, you brought those to Identiverse.
Yeah, exactly. I somehow managed to get 4 crates of these, small crates, only 3x3 bottles each, to the US, and well, yeah, it's contraband.
Well, don't worry, we got weapons delivered to Vegas and handed out. Did you get
so.
that home, by the way?
Oh yeah, thanks again. As my partner Roland was the one who cracked the majority of the puzzles, it was just fair that the small axe that you gave to us is with him now. Highly appreciated, exactly down our alley, really nice. Yeah.
Perfect, that's awesome.
We checked it in, no problem.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was like. Everyone was asking me, how are they gonna get it home? Like, it's just the same way I brought it here. You just check it on the plane. Otherwise, we'll mail it to you.
That's
it,
right?
That too. So, your company? What's your primary focus? What would you say is your typical client that seeks you out and that you offer the most benefit for?
Yeah, so let's say historically we've been working for the Fortune 500, for the really large organization. Here in Germany, for example, the Volkswagen Group, maybe Commerzbank, maybe Deutsche Bank, maybe Lufthansa, Max Planck Gesellschaft, Firmist Research Association here. So really large organization that sometimes happen to have more than 1 million identities under management, and that is only FTEs, full-time employees, and externals. So what we do with them is, well, strategic advisory on all topics that are identity security related. We do lots of requirements engineering, both technical, but in the meantime, lots of business requirements engineering, making sure that what we gather as requirements and write specifications on is actually in line with the business strategy, with the IT strategy, with the information security strategy. Then we move out to the market and check what technology is available, what standards are there, make recommendations of adopting those, and only in, let's say, the last stretch of it, we actually look for vendors and products that might fit And then, well, we do the typical, shortlisting and do a SWOT analysis. We have those vendors present, and then we are counseling the customer on what to look at and what to aim for, and then make recommendations. And then 9 times out of 10, we're happy, they are happy, we'll just ride off into the sunset and, well, seek our next mandate.
Nice.
But most recently, those customers decided to throw large John Wick gold coins at us, asking us to actually implement stuff. And it's not like we haven't done that before. I said I'm 25 years in the business, so I got experience with many of the vendors. I've been analyst at KuppingerCole. I've run my own businesses for like 17 years now.
Nice.
So I got engineers in the team that excel my technical skills by scale. So you won't let me near a production system, right? So we also do implementation with a select few technologies, but that is still rather opportunistic, I'll call it. So our sweet spot is definitely that strategic advisory.
Nice. So where do you see yourself growing in the next, let's say, like 3 years, like either services-wise or software-wise?
Okay, so can I hold that into the camera once again? So it's
really up there.
authorization. So yeah, this is the young wild crowd. We got David Broussard of Axiomatics. We got Alexandre Babineau of 3 Edges. We got Atul from Signal. We got so many cool people working at Styra on OPA and many more. We strongly believe that centralizing authorization and using different means of dynamic authorization will be a key growth component in the whole landscape, in the whole economy. And yeah, I'm betting on that. It's definitely one of the, let's say, cutting edge, bleeding edge stuff, which is also, by the way, very much aligned with what's going on in research. So yeah, P-bag, re-bag, A-bag, whatever access control mechanisms are out there, including graphs. Shout out to Alexander. So yeah, this is one component, and that is let's say the cool stuff.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, so many organizations are still sitting on legacy IGA technology, and there's lots of swap outs going on. In Germany, we are a large SAP user community. Yeah. SAP sold them SAP Identity Management. That's been called off. So there's lots of swap outs going on in the next 2-3 years. That's going to be a huge market opportunity for all the IGA vendors out there. And lastly, well, it's definitely privileged access management.
Yeah.
We see so much demand for that. It's really like inbound. I happen to get emails from our distribution with offerings for certain customers whose names I never had heard of before. And I was, that's cool. And I ring up the vendor and said, okay, who's the contact person? Who shall I send the offer to? And it's really like that. It's a continuous business which we see, and that's definitely keeping us entertained for the next 6, 12, 18 months for sure. Umbrella wouldn't be Umbrella without consumer customer identity management. The whole company was founded based on a successful Auth0 implementation project in southern Germany. That's where many of our engineers have lots of expertise in. So yeah, we're onboarding new vendors in that area, but also continuing to grow with the existing partnerships. Yeah, my issue is rather finding the right personnel, the right engineers, the right pre-sales engineers and salespeople. So if you happen to be German speaking, I'm open for applications.
Okay, so let's start with this then. What's the best way to reach out to you? Like LinkedIn, email?
Well, LinkedIn definitely is the thing. Just search for hashtag IdentiBeer. I'm pretty sure you'll find me.
There you go.
Just not bragging here, but I think I'm around 30,000 impressions for the last week or so, and
wow.
For a really, really niche topic.
Yeah.
That is huge, I think.
That is huge. That's awesome. So are you seeing anything about Passwordless here in Europe?
Oh, I totally forgot. Man, this is, well, if you got caught up in your own ideas there. Thanks for mentioning it. So yeah, passkeys, and passkeys. Tim Kapasky, and all you other guys out there who have been grinding, making those new standards happen. That is the future. I've seen really bad mouthing about passkeys and that it has shortcomings, that it has issues, that user experience is not too great if you're really trying to do that cross-realm stuff between Apple and Microsoft and Google. Yes, of course, but it's a brand new technology. People get over it. There is growth pain in there. And if you check out the right resources, if you follow certain URLs that the people that I just mentioned are maintaining, you will find that those issues people keep complaining and whining about, sorry guys, they are being followed up on. They are being addressed. Yes, it's not perfect, but to derail it and say it's failed and it's dead, that far from it, right? I am pretty sure that passwordless, especially with passkeys, is a great thing to adopt, and I'm totally behind that.
And then the last one will be, which seems to be the most greatest topic here, is decentralized ID.
Oh yes. But to be honest, and this is also something I keep very authentic about. I don't have a clue. I'm here to learn about that. You'd probably better ask Dr. Fett. You better ask the guys at Bundesdruckerei, Christina Yasuda, whose keynote we're probably missing right now. She is the one. You know, I had one post about that whole thing with EIDAS and the wallet thing, and that was the message that Christina Yasuda, formerly of Microsoft, sorry Pam for stealing her away to Germany, is that she joined Sprint, the agency for innovation, leapfrog innovation in Germany. And I was so happy that she joined. I'm a real skeptic when it comes to digital innovation in Germany because we got too many failed large projects like our own EID card, but that's another story.
From a grassroots perspective, like the hacker culture that comes out of even Berlin specifically.
Oh, don't get me started on that. That's topic for another episode where I please would love Roland to join because he brought me back to CCC, and I've been a big follower.
I heard that originally started here in this building. Is that true? I just heard this like an hour ago.
In this building, I do not
was like
know,
an
but
old warehouse, and that's
so yeah, it was definitely, you know, being between Hamburg and Berlin and Val Holland and all these great people back in the day who really stood up for digital rights and stuff. That was amazing. That was really amazing, groundbreaking work, and you see that during the conferences, which, by the way, always happen between Christmas and New Year's Eve. Currently back in Hamburg, they were outsourced to Leipzig for a few years. That is just great. And yeah, so apologies. I do not want to stick my hat out on anything that is verifiable credentials and wallets, because this is what I'm here to learn about too. Great stuff happening, and without Christina Yasuda, I'd say that was bound for a disaster. Now seeing how many people like Thorsten Dotterstedt also, and many more, apologies if I don't recall your names all here, that is a big thing, and I really hope that this happens and that these wallets are successful, and that European organizations, be it open source, be it commercial, are successful with these wallets, because I would really love to have a wallet that shows my digital driver's license, my digital ID card. Well, that's future talking. Passports, you know, travel documents, ICAO, shout out to you guys. That's going to take some time. But being able to just use my mobile phone to show my driver's license and stuff, that would be great. I would love it.
That's amazing. And most people would, I'd say this very profound because a lot of people will just say they have a very definite opinion as exactly where the technology is going to go, even if they really don't know what's going on. So it's a rare form to just say, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, this is, I talked about authenticity before, and this is what is really, really close to my heart. When I learn something, I've been an entrepreneur now for 17 years, and when I learned one thing in really complex talks with managers and engineers alike, and they bring up a tricky question, I just look them in the eye, say, apologies, I don't know. But I feel it's a really, really important and good question. I'll follow up on that. Give me a few days and you get your response. Because it's, when I started in that whole landscape here, in that vertical, it was like firewalls, and there were like 2 or 3 vendors. It was antivirus, and it was a little bit of VPN, and a little bit of intrusion detection maybe in the late 90s. And that's it. That was IT security in the late 1990s, right?
There was no security.
For those who could afford it. And now we're on 2024, and every day I wake up, I need to learn a gazillion new abbreviations like SOAR, EDR, XDR, whatnot. And I consider myself to be quite the generalist here, but I'm losing track. Maybe I'm getting old or what, but
no,
it's a Cambric explosion that we're having here and seeing here. And now for the last 2-3 years, where we suddenly have identity security, we see that same Cambric explosion happening in our own little branch, right? A few years ago, it was IGA, provisioning, right? Role mining. There was a little bit of access management. Yes, there was MFA, starting to see privileged access management. But now it's like, I'm wandering around here and seeing the different vendors. And what do you guys do, right? So that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought about that. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep up with everything. So I clearly state, I don't know. I don't have a clue. And then I read up. So continuous learning, lifelong learning. That's all what I'm into. But well, there's only so many hours in the day that you can actually read up on stuff.
Yep.
And just having read one thing doesn't make you an expert, right?
No.
At least not in my opinion.
No, I agree. I was actually speaking with Roland yesterday about this, about how people that are in this field, you have to be passionate about this. It's like this is something you do at night, on the weekends, in your free time.
Exactly. A few minutes ago I said, well, of course, I'd like to see some applications. That is something that I ask for in everyone who wants to join our ranks, that curiosity, that self-driven idea of, I want to learn more about that technology. And yes, of course, we're setting away time during the work week for that. For us, at least 5 days of mandatory external training are the bare minimum. So we send our people off. Well, yes, I do CISSP, CSAT, CISM, ID Pro trainings myself.
Yeah.
As a trainer, I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, but I send all my people off to do at least one of those 3, 4, 5 letter acronym trainings and get them certified. I do not say that this is super duper must have. I just say it's a pedigree, it's something that our customers ask for, so well, yeah, I'll give it to them. But it's also an opportunity for people to grow. And when they're like 2-3 years with us and they have some of those that I require, we ask them, so what do you want to do next? And one of our best engineers, Alex, shout out to you, he's very much interested in pen testing and these kind of analysis type of stuff. And yeah, we granted him doing pen testing trainings and certifications because we think that this inspires him. We don't do pen testing. We're not a pen testing company, but Alex is happy when he can tinker around with that. So yeah, well, if that makes him happy, he's excelling at work, why shouldn't I?
Yeah, no, I think that's super smart. And we're the same way. So we try to get our employees as much breadth of knowledge as we can give them. It's like if someone's like, hey, I want to get certified in whatever, let's do it. Like, or I want to, You know, it's
Well, you can expense it anyway, so
yeah, and
it's
you
cost
know,
of business.
a lot of times you just get bored doing the same thing over and over and over.
Exactly.
So you got to find out when they're getting like that burnt out. Like, hey, look, take tomorrow off. Here's like 3 other different projects doing completely different stuff, like maybe internal stuff we're just working on or completely separate. Like, which one of these would you want to, just sounds like fun.
That's
like, I wanna
great
do that.
approach,
It's like,
great
awesome.
approach. Love
Let's
it.
work on that
Yeah.
for a while. Like, get out of that monotonous stuff for some bit. You know, it's like you got to, I think it's great because I think you came from the same background as like myself, which is you were the person on the battlefield, right? You're the person in client space working on this stuff for years. So you know what they're going through.
Exactly,
As
yeah.
opposed to just some sales guy where you're just like, of course the product can do it. Get out there and do everything.
Yeah, right. So here's a package, just give me the money. Yeah, and no, it's
Yep.
not how it works.
Well, that's awesome, man. I am so excited to have met you in Identiverse and be able to hang out here in Berlin. So thank you
Likewise,
for your
likewise.
time. Also, thank you for the IdentiBeer. I feel
You're
very
welcome.
flattered.
You deserved it.
That's going definitely on my desk as soon as I get home. I'm taking it home with me.
Sounds great.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Later, everybody.
See ya.